Alaska, home to North America's tallest peak and its longest highway tunnel.
73 years ago this month, the Whittier Tunnel was completed. And on this week's Story Time with Aunt Phil, we get a history lesson on the man who made it possible.
His name can be found on this bronze plaque next to the entrance of the tunnel.
Anton Anderson, a guy who literally carved out a name for himself here in Alaska. But as Laurel Downing Bill, author of the Aunt Phil's Trunk Alaska History series, tells us, his legacy began long before this tunnel was finished. So Laurel, when does this story really begin?
Well, it begins in 1915 when Anton Anderson made his way to Ship Creek and went to work for the Alaska Railroad. He worked his way up, became assistant chief engineer, and he was responsible for many of the trails that the Iron Horse takes around western Alaska.
And he was so good, he was recruited to eventually build this tunnel.
That's right. During the war years, World War II, the military was afraid that that straight shot from Seward to Anchorage for the train, where it carried the military, that the Japanese could bomb it. So they decided they needed to maybe find a closer place to get the troops into Anchorage, and they noticed that Whittier had that deep port. Well, the only problem they faced, however, there was a great big mountain in the way, Mount Maynard.
Okay, so they had to blast from either side. And when they met in the middle?
They met in the middle. On the day they did, Anton yelled, "Where did we come out?" And the crew on the other side yelled, "It's way above our heads!" And Anton was stunned. How on earth could his engineering skills have been so far off after triangulating from the tallest mountains? And it turns out the crew was playing a joke on him. He was only 6 inches off. And of course, back in the 40s, I mean, what a feat was that, you know? That was amazing.
Yeah, quite a feat. Anton seems like a really smart guy, and of course would go on to do bigger things even after this tunnel.
That's right. 1956, he was elected as Anchorage's 22nd mayor. However, he only served for 2 years. In '56, he had to retire because of health issues, and then unfortunately, he passed away in 1961 from Parkinson's disease.
All right, thank you, Laurel. So the next time you pass through this tunnel, you can maybe better appreciate the amount of work that went into it and really who was behind it. So some fun facts. The tunnel, 2.5 miles long. It's the first U.S. tunnel to use a jet turbine to ventilate it.
If you have any doubts about its stability, breathe easy knowing it suffered no significant structural damage during the '64 earthquake. And what happens if a car breaks down inside? There are 8 vehicle turnouts for disabled vehicles only.
That was one of our biggest concerns as we drove through. What happens if a car breaks down? And hey, we should probably mention they started construction on this thing right around 1941-42 and had it completed by 1943.
Yeah, a couple years.
I just assumed it was going to take a heck of a lot longer than that, but author Laurel Downing Bill proved us wrong.
She did.
So there you have it.